You know, in a courtroom, sometimes the most powerful voice isn't a person at all. It's science. Today, we're diving into the incredible world where medicine and justice collide, forensic medicine.
And that really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How do the dead speak in a court of law? When a victim can no longer tell their story, who speaks for them? Well, the answer, as we're about to see, lies in the silent evidence they leave behind and the experts who know how to make it talk.
All right, so let's get right into it. What exactly is this field where medicine meets justice? Let's break it down. Okay, so the best way to think about it is like a bridge. It's this essential link between two totally different worlds. On one side, you've got medicine, the science of how our bodies work, and on the other, you have the law, the whole framework for justice. The forensic expert, they're the translator standing right in the middle of that bridge, turning complex medical facts into clear, objective evidence that a court can actually use. And, the name itself actually gives away the whole game. The word forensic comes from the Latin forensis, which literally means before the court. So everything a forensic specialist does, every single detail they record, is all about being presented in a legal setting to help find the truth. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does a forensic doctor actually do day to day? Let's take a look at their key duties with a special focus on how it all works in Pakistan. I mean, just look at this list. The sheer scope of what they handle is incredible. This is so much more than what you see in the movies. They're examining living victims of assaults and accidents, they're gathering critical evidence in sexual assault cases, and they're digging into poisoning investigations. Every one of these tasks requires absolute, painstaking precision to make sure justice is even possible. To really get a feel for how important this is, let's walk through a real-world scenario, because in this field, every single injury tells a story. So, imagine this. A man gets brought into the hospital. He says he was assaulted. The police are there, stories are flying around, everyone's on edge. It's chaos, right? In the middle of all that, the forensic doctor has to be the calm, objective eye of the storm, and their work starts immediately. And this is where the science kicks in. It's not guesswork. It's a super methodical, step-by-step process. The examiner isn't just glancing at a wound. They're asking really specific questions. Is this from something sharp or something blunt? Can these marks tell us what kind of weapon was used? Legally speaking, is this injury considered life-threatening? Every single answer becomes another piece of the puzzle. And you have to understand, the stakes are just unbelievably high. One badly worded description, a measurement that's off by just a millimeter, a single detail missed on that medical legal certificate, any one of those things could mean the difference between a guilty person being convicted and an innocent person being wrongly accused. Precision isn't just important, it's everything. Okay, so that's the ideal, the perfect by-the-book process. But the real world is messy, and this work runs into some major real-world obstacles. And this is where we hit a really sobering reality. For justice to be based on science, the system has to actually support that science. When you have a shortage of specialists, cases just pile up, which means justice gets delayed. Think about it. Delays in a toxicology report could mean a suspect walks free before the most crucial piece of evidence even comes back from the lab. And poor documentation? That can cause a whole case, even one built on solid evidence, to completely fall apart in court. These aren't just little problems. They're huge barriers to finding the truth. So we've seen the process, we've seen the challenges. Let's take a step back and talk about why all of this matters so much. Why is this field so vital for a fair society? I mean, the difference here is just night and day. Without forensic medicine, justice can easily become a game of guesswork, or it just comes down to who tells a better story. But with it, you're replacing all that speculation with hard evidence. It gives the legal system a foundation of fact so that it can actually uncover the truth, protect people who are innocent, and make sure the guilty are held accountable. It's a total game changer. And in the end, it really all boils down to this one incredibly powerful idea. Forensic medicine gives a clear, objective, scientific voice to those who can no longer speak for themselves. It makes sure their story is told, and that the truth, well, that the truth gets a fighting chance.